Hi, I'm Vicki, Education Consultant at LCP, and this is a brief demo of iTRACK. So one of the main benefits of iTRACK is quite how flexible the system is. We can amend many things to suit your school's needs, and depending on what your school wants from an assessment system, really. So this is the iTRACK homepage. And this shows me some data that I've selected, and it also gives me the opportunity of looking at attendance. Now, you do have the option to connect your iTRACK account to your MIS system through Wand. So this data would be pulled through automatically. Similarly, things like your pupil numbers, date of birth, SEN status, etc., would also be pulled through your MIS integration via Wand. So to look at the flexibility of iTRACK, the best place for us to go is to enter pupil results. Now, I'm going to have a look at Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 3 specifically, but many of the things that we're able to do here, we're also able to do in Foundation and in Key Stage 4 and 5, because that's the beauty of iTRACK. You can track right from nursery all the way through to A-levels and BTECs. So I'm going to go to Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 3 data entry, and I'm going to enter some pupil results. So I'm going to go to Year 4, assessment point 1 for reading, and this is where you would then enter your data. So there's a few different options that we can talk about just here, and that's the ability to band assign, which is where you can make a judgment about a child's attainment. Now, as you can see here, I've got 4 assessment standards selected. You can edit this dependent on your school. I've got below working towards expected and greater depth. Again, you can reword those. So if you wanted commencing, developing, secure, you can do that as well, dependent on what works for your school. I'm also able to assess pupils if they are working below their given year group, and there's a couple of ways I can do this. The first way, if they are working significantly below, so back down in the reception, is I'm able to use the SEN EFAS column. And what this allows me to do is use my selected early years curriculum. So I could say that this child, for example, is working at a working towards reception level, or if they are not working quite that low, but still below Year 4, I've got the ability to assess in Year 3 or Year 2 or Year 1. I've also got the individual components for reading set up here, as well as reading overall. Again, you can edit these, you can remove them and just have reading. You can add additional ones depending on what is right for your school. But I also have the option to full assign. So if I click full assign for reading comprehension, I've got the ability to objective tick for this pupil. And again, these are completely editable. This is the national curriculum, but if I wanted to break this down further, or as a school, I'd come up with my own individual objectives, this can all be edited. And again, with the full assign, I'm able to assess below, so I can select objectives for Year 3 or for Year 2 as well. We also have a feature called additional assessments, and so you can see here I've got phonics, I've got effort, I've got book bands. For Key Stage 1 to 3, I'm able to add 5 additional assessment columns per subject, and there are different ways I can record the data. So phonics here is in a select from list, so I've got a set amount of options, whereas effort is a text box, so I could type directly into that box. I've also got the ability to assess multiple pupils at once by selecting them down the side, and I've also got the ability to apply selected assessment to all units of study, meaning I can assess lots of children in lots of areas very quickly. I've also got the ability to look at their last assessment point, and I can also see their Key Stage 1, because I'm looking at Key Stage 2 pupil, their teacher assessment and scale score in the previous key stage. Now you can see the list of subjects that I've got available here on my account, but we can add or amend these subjects dependent on what is needed for your school. So it really is incredibly flexible, and we can build the account to what works for you. Obviously, this account is all based on, the wording of expected, working towards, etc. But we also have the ability to have a numeric account. So if you're a school that works more sort of like the GCSE numbers, then we can do that for you as well. You also have the ability to have a light mode of iTRACK, which removes some of the additional functions. So we're going to have a look at just a couple of the analysis pages. If I go to Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 3 and just show you, there's a whole raft of cohort analysis and school analysis pages, but we're just going to have a look at a couple. The first one being the attainment dashboard. So this is looking at my whole school. And once I've chosen a subject, I can look at the individual subsets, or I can look at them overall. And I can decide where in the year I want to look and press go. And what this does is it shows me for each year group down the side who has attained what at the assessment point I've chosen. I'm able to click in these boxes and view who these children actually are. And obviously I've got the overall of the whole school along the bottom. I can show this in a summarise if I wanted to just look at who's working below, at, above, or at or above. I've got that option as well. I've also got the option to view it as a bar chart with the individual tables underneath, or as a pie chart with the individual pie charts underneath there as well. Now here I've got my whole school, but what I am able to do is click on the show attributes and then compare different groups of children. So I'm going to view my gender, my SEN register, and my pupil premium. So after my whole school table, I've then got the comparison between boys and girls. I've got the comparison between the SEN register and not SEN register, and pupil premium and not pupil premium. I can take this another layer deeper. So if I wanted to look at some comparisons for, say, just my SEN pupils, I'm going to turn SEN off here and I'm going to open it in my filters. And what this will allow me to do is see just the children who are on my SEN register. So you can see my numbers have reduced on the left-hand side here. So this is all of my SEN pupils. Then I've got the comparison again of my SEN boys and SEN girls, and my SEN children who are also pupil premium, and my SEN children who are not pupil premium. So we can start at quite a surface level of analysis and then really dig deeper depending on what your needs are as a school. We've got the progress dashboard, which works in a really similar way, obviously looking at progress rather than attainment. And speaking of progress, we're going to go to cohort attainment. So now we're looking at a year group, and I'm going to go to progress tracking. I'm going to look at year 6 because I can see their journey right through school. Select my subject. Again, I can look at the whole of reading or any of the individual units. And what this allows me to do is see where progress has been made, and how good or poor that progress is. So this is automatically calculated by iTRACK, dependent on how your account is set up. And where you see these little teacher icons, this is where progress has been overridden by a teacher. And I can open up each individual year group to see progress throughout the years as well. And then I've got a breakdown of analysis for each of the year groups along the bottom as well, looking at each level of progress, and then the expected or better, or good or better. And I've got the ability to filter on this page again as well. So I can start really broad with my whole class, and then I can begin to look at certain groups. And I do have the ability to look at my SEN pupils who are also pupil premium. So I can really focus down on those groups. I can look at an individual pupil as well. If I go to pupil tracking and select a child, I can see for reading the different units of study, so the word reading, the comprehension, and then here are those additional assessments that I've got set up. I can add test scores as well. I can add free text. So again, these are additional columns that you can add data into any other subject that I am recording data for. So that's Key Stage 1 to 3. Let's have a little look at foundation stage, and we can look at the cohort attainment here. So I'm going to look at my year 0, so my reception pupils. I'm going to look at end of year, and then I can choose my floor standard. So I'm going to say that I want all of my pupils to have met the early learning goal because I'm looking at end of year. And this allows me to then see each area of learning and its little subsections. I can turn the subsections off and just see the full combined score if I wished. And then I can see overall whether they have or haven't met the early learning goal. And then I've got the analysis down the bottom, and I can open up those subsections. And I've got the ability again to turn on and off those additional assessments, 5 for the whole of foundation. The other thing that comes alongside data analysis in iTRACK is the report writer. This is the ability to create compact reports. Say this is an example of a compact report. This is most commonly used for interim reports, mid-year reports. Again, it's hugely flexible, so you can turn on and off what data you wish to appear. You also have the end of year report. So I've got the ability to add a front page, a pupil photo. The great thing with the iTRACK report writer are these default comments. So I will automatically have, for end of year 4 working at greater depth in reading, a comment pre-populated written by us at iTRACK that can then be edited on a whole school basis and on an individual pupil basis. And then following feedback from schools, we've now developed our hybrid report, and this is the ability to combine the 2 reports. So I can have those individual subjects, and then those additional subjects, the wider curriculum, I can display just in the table view. So that's iTRACK in a nutshell, really. We pride ourselves offering a high level of service. So you'd receive a bespoke training package, bespoke education consultant, which in your case would be me. We run regular free webinars for our clients. So if you'd like any more information or have any questions at all, then please feel free to drop me an email, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.